Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to introduce quadratic formula, which is a new way to solve quadratic equation. The reason we introduce that because today you will see some example which is actually cannot be solved by the method we introduced before. In this formula, we are going to look at the new symbol, which is called square root. So the first practice, we are going to do some kind of review regarding square root symbol. Some students already know square root symbol is actually related to square. For example, 3 squared equal to 9, then square root of 9, which is 3. This is how do we do that. This is like a reverse process of the square. So let's see how do we do this one. How do we simplify all these expressions here? If you like, you can also pause the video to see if you can do this on your own, or we can just work on this together. So the first one, you already know that is 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. But this one is a little bit tricky, because there's no way you can find a two same number to multiply to get 50, right? So what can we do? How can we simplify? I'm going to break down this 50 as a two factors, meaning I'm going to find a two number to multiply to 50. Some student might say 10 times 5 is 50. You're right. But what I need is I need one of the numbers, perfect square numbers such as 4, 25, 16, all this number. So you probably figure out 25 times 2 is 50. So I'm going to use this choice, and you will know why very soon. So 25 times, I don't know what's going on here. Let's rewrite it. 25 times 2 is 50. So I'm going to break down this two parts. 25 times square root of 2. Then apparently square root of 25, which is 5. So this answer will be simplified as 5 square root of 2. Okay? Similar to 28, no way we can find the two numbers, same numbers to get 28. So I'm going to break down this 4 times 7. The reason is 4 is perfect one number, so now I can use square root of 4 times square root of 7, square root of 4, which is 2, so 2 times square root of 7. So let's move on. Next, this one a little bit different. I'm going to do the calculation inside 3 times 4, 12, so is 14. Some student might wonder, can I simplify more on this? No, because this is already simplified. There's no factor of 14 is actually a perfect square number, so we are going to leave as it is. This one, 9 minus 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. And then we can use minus, minus become plus. So it's 9 plus 6, which is square root of 15. Again, no perfect square number as a factor, so there's no way we can do that. Okay, before we introduce the quadratic formula, let's quickly check this equation. Before, we always like to use EM method, right? We find a two number to multiply to get negative 3, then we add them to get negative 4. And now you can definitely pause the video to do some mental math to figure out can you do that? And turns out it's impossible, because there is no such two number can make it happen at the same time. So what do? This is the reason why we introduce quadratic formula, because the A method is not applicable in this situation. So how do we use quadratic formula? The quadratic formula is actually look like this. As you can see, the whole formula here stands for we have two solutions, x1 and x2. And this one, you see the negative b here, we prefer call this as opposite b. You will see the reason very soon. And this one, plus or minus, basically stands for one of solution is something plus something, the other one is minus. So how do we use this formula? Let's check the first example here. We will go back to check this equation again to see how do we use it. We will write down the formula again so we can always refer to that. So as you can see in this formula, we're dealing with so many letters A and B and C. So what are they? How do we use them? As we mentioned before, the standard form of the quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. A stands for the number in front of x squared. B stands for the number in front of x. C is a constant term, which is the last number here. But you always want to double check, do we have 0 at the end? So since we have here, so we don't need to do any extra changes. Then let's just figure out the number. A is, as you can see, there's invisible 1 here, so A is 1, B is negative 4, C is negative 3. Now we just plug in the value. Formula says 2a, so 2 times 1, then negative. So as we can see here is we read this opposite b. So it's easy to remind us whatever the b here, we are going to put the inverse number here. So since we have negative 4 as b, so opposite b becomes 4. Plus or minus b squared, which is negative 4 squared, minus 4 times a times c. All we need to do, plug in number in the formula. So we just continue our calculation. 2 times 1 is 2. The top part, let's do a little bit more steps here. Negative 4 squared, which is negative 4 times negative 4, 16, minus 4. Oh, okay. Minus 4 times 1 times negative 3, which is negative 12. So this will give us 2 plus or minus square root of 28. As you can see, negative, negative becomes positive. Do not forget that. So we are now going to do more simplification. So since we mentioned before, square root of 28 same as 2 radical 7. If you forget that, you can always go back to check the previous slide about this one. How do we get 2 radical 7? And now I'm going to use this number here to replace this part to help us to simplify. So it's 4 plus or minus 2 radical 7 divided by 2. So now I have two solutions. The one-off solution is 4 plus 2 radical 7 over 2. And now I can just simplify this as 4 over 2 plus 2 radical 7 over 2. And then final answer will be 2 plus radical 7 because 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 radical 7 over 2 is cancelled 2, so it's 7. Next one, as I mentioned, plus or minus give us another option, which is 4 minus 2 radical 7 divided by 2. I will do exactly the same process here. So 4 over 2 minus 2 radical 7 over 2 will give us 2 minus square root 7. One thing I want to remind you, some students when they come to here, they just do or 4 plus then 2 over 2, so plus over 7. This is going to be wrong because remember, the whole top part divided by 2, so that's why every single terms on the top part will be divided by 2. Okay, this is the first example. In the next video, I'm going to show 2 more examples so we can do more practices with using quadratic formula. Okay, see you soon, everyone.